Wow. It feels like every single day there's some kind of new AI breakthrough announced.
Right. You blink and the whole landscape shifts.
It really is hard to keep up with, to know what's just hype and what's truly transformative. I mean, AI is impacting everything now.
Mm.
How we use our phones, the kind of jobs we do, even things like the energy grid and global politics.
Yeah, it's everywhere. So separating the signal from the noise, that's what we're doing here. This deep dive is really all about cutting through the clutter.
Exactly. We've been poring over reports, announcements, research papers, all of it, just to get to the core of what's actually important right now in AI. Stuff you really need to know.
Yeah, the need to know stuff.
So let's dive right in. Meta's been making headlines. They've just dropped a bunch of new Llama 4 models. What's the deal with those?
Well, they've got a few different angles they're playing here. First off, there's Maverick and Scout. Maverick uses, get this, a mixture of experts architecture.
Mixture of experts. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it basically means the AI has these specialized parts, like internal mini brains, that each handle different types of tasks. It's got 17 billion active parameters, and the whole design seems aimed at making it super efficient for general assistants, chatbots and stuff.
So instead of one giant AI trying to do everything, it's like a team of specialists.
Exactly. Divide and conquer. Now, Scout, that's a different beast. Also 17 billion parameters, but this one's built to handle huge chunks of information. Like, it has a 10 million token context window. That's enormous.
A token's basically a word, right? So it can remember and process millions of words at a time.
Yeah, think about summarizing like a whole book or even a big code base. That's where Scout shines.
That is wild. But wait, there's more, right? Meta's got even bigger models in the pipeline.
Oh yeah, they're not done. Llama 4 Behemoth, that's the one generating a lot of buzz. They're saying it's going to crush the current top models.
Like GPT-4 and all those.
Yep. GPT 4.5, Claude 3.7 Sonnet, Gemini 2.0 Pro, all of them. Supposedly it'll blow them away, especially on STEM stuff. And it's gigantic, 288 billion parameters.
So many parameters, it's hard to even picture.
It's mind-boggling, the scale of these things. And there's another one, Llama 4 Reasoning. So they're clearly pushing hard on all fronts.
Bold claims, though. I have seen some folks questioning the benchmarks they're using for these comparisons.
Yeah.
Anything to that?
Yeah, this is important. There's been whispers, unconfirmed, that the version of Llama 4 they use for these benchmarks might have been trained specifically on that test data, like cramming for an exam.
So potentially inflated scores.
Potentially. Now, Meta is denying it outright, saying they'd never do that. But the fact that these doubts are out there does highlight the need for transparency. Like, we need really rigorous, independent evaluation of these models.
So take those performance numbers with a grain of salt for now. What about real-world usage? Any feedback on Maverick and Scout so far?
Early days, but yeah, some users are reporting inconsistent performance. Meta's saying that's to be expected with initial releases. They figure as developers start integrating them into different applications, things will smooth out.
Makes sense. Okay, shifting gears. Google Cloud's making some moves, prepping for what they're calling the agentic AI era. What's their vision there?
They're all in on AI that doesn't just process data, but actually takes action. They revealed their Ironwood TPU, their newest AI chip. That's a big investment in the hardware side of things.
So building the foundation for these more powerful AI systems.
Right. And they've also launched new models and software tools, specifically this agent development kit, the Agent SDK.
I've heard about that. Seems pretty central to their plan.
It is. This kit gives developers all the building blocks they need to create these agentic systems. Google Cloud's CTO, Will Granis, he's laid out their vision, talking about agent space, which is like an environment to build and manage these AI agents, and then multi-agent systems, which are like groups of AIs working together.
Like a whole AI team tackling a problem.
Exactly. He even gave some real-world examples. Imagine AI that automatically processes your expense reports.
Oh, that would be amazing. So much time saved.
Right. But of course, with this much autonomy, there are big questions about trust and security. Google's really emphasizing that.
It's a whole new way of thinking about interacting with AI. Not just asking it questions, but delegating tasks to it.
Exactly. And Granis even mentioned a cloud of connected agents and an agent garden, like this whole ecosystem where agents can interact and share info. It's pretty wild to think about.
Sounds like we're on the cusp of some major changes. Now let's talk about Anthropic. They just launched this new premium subscription for Claude, the Max plan. What's the deal there?
It's interesting. They're clearly targeting power users, the folks who are hitting the limits of the regular Cloud plans. The Max plan gives you way more usage, but it costs more too, obviously.
So if you're using Claude a ton, it might be worth the upgrade.
Yeah, if you're bumping up against those limits, for sure. Plus, they're giving early access to new models and features to Max plan subscribers.
Always a good incentive. All right, let's talk AMD. They're getting into the large language model game with their new open source Gaia framework. Why is this a big deal?
What sets Gaia apart is that it lets you run large language models locally on your own Windows machine. You need AMD hardware, of course.
So you're not stuck relying on the cloud for everything.
Exactly. And it supports RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation, which means your LLM can access your local data for more relevant answers.
Could be great for people concerned about data privacy.
Absolutely. Or for folks in places with spotty internet, and the fact that it's open source means more people can contribute to it, help it grow.
Good for innovation. Now, what about NVIDIA? They always have something cooking.
Oh, they do. At their GTC 2025 conference, they unveiled their Rubin AI chips, the next generation. Big performance boost expected there.
Gamers are going to be all over that.
For sure. And there's rumors about the RTX 5060 Ti coming out soon. People are already speculating about the pricing.
Heard about that. Gamers always need the latest and greatest. And didn't I see something about NVIDIA helping create an AI-generated Tom and Jerry cartoon?
Yeah. Researchers, including some from NVIDIA, used some new techniques to make a full minute of a Tom and Jerry cartoon, all generated by AI.
That is wild. Really shows how far AI's come in creative fields. So, Meta mentioned DeepSeek when they talked about Llama 4. Why are they a competitor to watch?
DeepSeek's interesting because they're offering performance that supposedly rivals the top models, but at a lower cost.
So they were putting pressure on Meta.
Oh, absolutely. That competitive pressure likely played a role in Meta releasing Llama 4 when they did. It shows that there are serious players emerging all over the world.
Competition's always good. Drives innovation. Okay, let's talk about some real-world applications. Samsung and Google are finally launching their Bally Home robot. It's got the Gemini AI upgrade. What can this thing do?
Well, Bally's been a concept for a while now, so it's exciting to see it actually becoming a product. And with Gemini AI on board, it's a whole different ballgame.
So it can do more than just roll around and look cute.
Right. Much more sophisticated interactions. Plus, it can project videos now. So imagine a little robot assistant that can entertain you, too.
I'm sold. What about AI in more artistic fields? I saw ChatGPT can actually generate images of action figures now.
Yeah, pretty cool, right? You can describe an action figure, even one based on yourself, and ChatGPT will generate an image of it.
That's so personalized. Amazing what AI can do now.
It's incredible. And it's not just about creating new images. Existing tools are getting AI upgrades too. Zoner Photo Studio X just got a big update with new AI masking features, makes editing way easier.
I've been hearing about vibe coding lately. Engineers using AI to code, even if they don't know much about a specific language. What's the story there?
It's sort of a new approach. You basically give the AI a high-level idea, a vibe, and let it generate the code.
Sounds like a great way to learn and experiment.
Yeah, some folks are having a lot of success with it. Prasad Naik and Jeremy Tuliru, they've both talked about using it to build tools quickly, even with languages they're not expert in. Tuliru described his process. Start with clear concept, let the AI code it up, then use the AI to debug and refine it.
So, a collaborative coding process. But I imagine there are downsides too.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Tahir Vora, he's a software engineer. He's a bit more cautious. He warns that if you rely too heavily on the vibe and don't really understand the code, you can run into trouble, especially when you're building something for production use.
So, good tool for learning and prototyping. But you still need solid programming skills to build truly robust software.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's shift to AI in the enterprise. How's that playing out?
Lots of companies are integrating AI into their workflows. Like H2GPT, it's being used for smarter document retrieval. Basically, it makes sure the answers you get are actually grounded in the documents you've uploaded.
Context is key.
Right. And GitHub launched a new AI tool that helps developers find security vulnerabilities in their code. Pretty important these days.
Absolutely. And there's this whole idea of AI agents rewriting the rules of sauce.
That's a big one. What's
Okay,
the thinking there?
Basically, imagine AI agents that handle tasks within sauce applications on your behalf. The way we pay for these services could change entirely, focusing on what the AI achieves, not just how much you use the software.
Interesting. So the AI is the real user in a way. Any real-world examples of this?
Well, Wells Fargo has their AI assistant, Fargo, that's already handling a ton of customer interactions.
That's pretty impressive.
Oh, and Redis, they just released vector sets and a new semantic caching tool.
What's the benefit of those?
Vector sets let you store and search these things called vector embeddings, which are basically like numerical representations of meaning. The semantic caching tool, that's all about making LLMs more efficient. It stores responses based on their meaning, so you don't have to keep recomputing the same thing over and over.
Makes sense. Okay, cybersecurity. Feels like AI is essential there now, both for attack and defense.
It is. Christopher Alberg, he's the CEO of Recorded Future, he said it flat out. Human security teams can't keep up with AI-powered attacks on their own. We need AI to fight AI.
It's an arms race, but with algorithms.
Exactly. Recorded Future, they're all about using AI to analyze and predict cyber threats. That's their whole game.
Pretty crucial work. Now let's talk about AI in science. There was news about a new AI tool for protein sequencing.
Yeah, Instanovo. This is potentially huge. It does de novo protein sequencing, which means it can figure out the sequence of amino acids in a protein from scratch.
So no need to rely on existing databases.
Right. This is super important for identifying brand new proteins, which could lead to breakthroughs in understanding diseases and developing treatments.
That's exciting. The Stanford AI Index report came out recently, too. What were some of the big takeaways there?
The report highlighted a big trend. In 2024, the vast majority of significant AI models came from industry. That number's way up from previous years. Shows you how expensive and resource-intensive this stuff is becoming.
So the big players have the advantage there.
Yeah, but the report also noted that open-weight models, the ones anyone can use, they're starting to catch up in performance.
And that's good news. Keeps things more accessible.
Definitely. And the cost of running AI inference, that's come down a lot. So it's getting cheaper to actually use these models.
So AI is becoming more accessible, even if developing the top models is still mostly an industry game. How about AI in elections? Apparently it's making things weird.
Yeah, there was a simulated wargame exercise that looked at how AI is changing things. They talked about the uncanny valley effect in relation to a video of a politician.
The uncanny valley, that's when something looks almost human, but not quite right. It's creepy.
Exactly. And with AI, you can make these subtle changes to videos that make people question what's real and what's not.
Dangerous stuff, especially during elections. Okay, last but not least, AI in energy storage. How's that shaping up?
AI is proving to be really useful for managing smart energy storage systems. It can predict when batteries might fail, so you can do maintenance before there's a problem, and it can automate trading of surplus energy.
So AI could make renewable energy more efficient and profitable.
Precisely. Speaking of big investments, the EU just announced a huge plan to boost their AI capabilities.
Yeah, 20 billion euros.
Right.
To build new supercomputer centers, specifically for AI.
That's the plan. They want to make Europe a major player in the global AI landscape, reduce their reliance on the US and China.
Ambitious, but it shows how seriously they're taking this. And OpenAI has their own ideas about Europe's AI strategy.
Yeah, they put out their own proposal, a whole blueprint. It's got 4 parts, and it basically calls for massive infrastructure expansion, less regulation, and wide adoption of AI.
So both the EU and OpenAI agree that investing in infrastructure is key.
Absolutely. And finally, let's talk about where the money's going. What are investors looking for in the AI agent space?
Lots of excitement there, but also a lot of caution, right?
Definitely. Investors are being very selective. They want to see companies with a clear advantage, whether that's unique tech, special data, or just a really great user experience. And they want to see a focus on specific industries, not just general AI assistants.
So agents that solve real problems.
Exactly. No more pie-in-the-sky promises. They want results.
Makes sense. What's not getting funded?
Well, generalist AI assistants, the kind that just act as a front end for a large language model, those aren't getting much love. And neither are agents that promise the moon without a clear path to get there.
So practicality and a solid business model are key.
Absolutely.
Well, it's been quite a journey through the AI landscape. Feels like we've only scratched the surface.
I know, right? New developments every day. It's hard to keep up.
The pace of innovation is just incredible. But here's something for everyone to think about. With AI becoming so powerful and pervasive, what do we need to do to prepare for the future? Are we ready for a world where AI is woven into almost everything we do?
It's a question we all need to be asking ourselves.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. It's a conversation we need to keep having.